Okay, thanks for joining me again today. What I have today is a continuation of my 2007 Chevy 3500 Classic. 144,000 miles on it, and I'm getting this clacking, this clanging noise as I'm going down the road. And all these parts, I'm not just a parts changer, they all really needed to be changed in this series. I changed the front hub, I've changed the shocks, and now I have the upper ball joints. I'm thinking it's got to be the ball joints because I just am not seeing anything loose, and it's when I go down the road, as I hit a bump, I get a vibration. So if you're trying to figure out your vibration, I'm on that same journey. And by the time I get this series out, I'll have found that problem out, and you'll be able to watch all the videos and see what I did to solve those problems. But what I've got here is the Acdelco upper ball joint. I bought some other ones that I really weren't satisfied with on my Chevy Trailblazer. You can go check those videos out if you have one of those. Those parts just were not the same quality in my opinion. Now, I have not replaced with the Acdelco before, but I figured if they're good enough for factory, hopefully they'll last a long time here. So we'll get into that right now. Let's go do it. Alright, so we got all this crud in here. Alright, so this is good, just as good a time as any because we got to use this snap ring tool. And I've found one of the best snap ring tools that I've seen. And this is a Channellock, and it's made in the US. It's got a spring on it, and you can just flip the lever and it changes it from an internal spring to an external snap ring. Then it's got a little package with it. It's got all the little different 90-degree tips and all. So, I mean, this is a pretty big spring. This is my new Acdelco ball joint, and no problem. You just you got to hold it on there. See, if you notice, I just swapped that from internal to external, and so you got plenty of power to squeeze. Even that's a pretty heavy-duty ring. So I'm excited to be able to use this new tool. If you haven't seen these, you might want to go check them out, and I'll leave a link below. This nut under the bottom is 18 millimeter, and I'm going to put a little lubrication on it. Always helps. There's my ball joint. Your hub assembly will be hanging from that line. So go ahead and disconnect that in the two holders up here and one up here behind the shock. And then that should let that go all the way down without hanging up on you and your brake line. Okay, so take a 10 millimeter. I'm going to go ahead. I would recommend doing this before you take the ball joint loose, and just go ahead and take this little brake line bracket. Take the brake line bracket off, and that way you'll get some relief on your brake line right there. I've got the press here, and I think this was under $100. So you got the press and all the different attachments. So anyway, that'll be down below if you want to look at it. Let's get this thing pressed out and fixed. All right. This has been really tough. I had to change configuration here, and got my 24-inch breaker bar here, but it is tough. Very tough. Whew, I'm gassed on that one. I didn't know if I was going to be able to get that out, but I was able to, and it was a fight. All right, so I got a little pamphlet that came with the ball joint, and basically it says there's 2 dots on the ball joint and show proper direction. So align the indentions. So there's my 2 marks, and apparently there's indentions on here. I'll see if I can get a picture of that. So my battery died. You've got 2 lines on there, and it says that faces towards the engine compartment. I wasn't able to find any indentions that it mentioned on the control arm, so this is what I got, and I need to let that swing around, I think. Now take this off, and we got an E-clip that we have to use with our channel locks. Get that installed, so we'll get that done. Alright, now that my ball joint is pressed in, I'm going to reinstall my grease zerk. And there again, this is an angled one, and I'm going to do it so when I turn the wheel I'll be able to access it from the back right here, like that. There is our channel that we need to put our snap ring in. Alright, snap ring is installed. I'm going to have to raise the lower A-arm. It's a pretty good fight. I'm going to try to push down on it and get just enough threads to put the washer and the nut on it. Okay, so I've got my 19mm, and it's not a ratchet wrench. So old-fashioned, I'll pull it up this way. Okay, so it's time to torque the nut for the upper ball joint, and that one is torqued to 37 foot-pounds, so let's get to it. It's hard to read this torque wrench upside down. Guess that means I gotta lay on the ground. Okay, I got the castle nut torqued to 37 foot-pounds, and now it's time to put the cotter pin in. Alright, that one is done. I also have these bushings here, but they still look okay. I'll probably have to do that at a later date. I'm running short on time. So we're going to jack it up and put the tire back on, but that completes the ball joint replacement. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. And I hope this helped you if you're replacing this ball joint or if you're having that rattling. I will continue this series because I will be replacing these as well because I already have the parts. Alright, there we go. We have the speed sensor reattached and secured, and also the brake line bracket here, 10mm, and it's reattached and secured. So now what we need to do is put our tire on and go road test it. Did I mention grease? Let's go ahead and do that. Alright. Give me one more. Okay, that's more than enough.